What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Power Platform TV. Today, we're going to take a look at Omnichannel agent scripts and macros. So, agent scripts and macros are basically ways where you can help an agent to go through a predefined workflow and help a customer basically with a conversation to resolve an issue. So today we're going to take a look at how to use these, what's the difference between macros and agent scripts, how they fit together, and then we'll go through a demo, we'll build one out, and you can see how this works. And I wrote a blog post about this. You can see the link here on the screen, and basically if you want to go through this later step by step, you can go to this link and go through each of these steps, and that's what we'll be pretty much doing through in this video, and we'll be talking through each of these actions that we make as well. So the first thing you'll want to do is go and head over to the Customer Service Admin Center app, and that is the new app that we do all of our omnichannel configuration in. Okay, so head over to this app, and basically you'll want to go over to your channel, and I'm going to do this on a chat channel here. So I have a chat channel pre-configured. So the way to get to this is go over to Channels, go over to Chat, and click on Manage. And then you can go and open up your chat channel. So click here, click Edit. And then that will show the Workstream this is associated with. So I'm going to click on this Demo Live Chat Workstream here. And let's take a look at it. And so here we are. And basically if I scroll down here, just go to Show Advanced Settings, we'll see here that the session template that we have, right? So if you're using the default one, you'll probably want to make a customized one so that we can go and add agent scripts to that. So basically, I've gone ahead and created a new session template here. And if I just go ahead and click on this, we'll see here that this is the session template. And then this is the tab here where we will be creating some agent scripts. Okay. So before we do that, we're going to start at the macros level. And to get to macros, I'm going to go here under Agent Experience, click on Productivity, and then we'll see here, this is the agent scripts here where we can manage them, and this is the macros right below it. And if we just read this here, it says, create a set of automated actions that perform operations in a faster, more efficient, and process-compliant manner, right? So that's macros. So we're going to be creating these macros that will perform these tasks and these actions in an automated way so that the agent doesn't have to go through and do that manually, right? There is a manual component to this, but we'll see here they'll be following a script essentially. And the agent scripts here, it says, give step-by-step instructions to agents to help minimize human error and provide consistent service, okay? So that's the idea. We want the agents to be following these scripts, and when they're following the scripts, when they go through each of the steps, the macros will come into play so that it will guide the agents to perform that action or that task in a lot of times for them when they just click a button to perform the step. Okay, so let's look more into this. So now I'm going to start with macros. I'm going to click Manage here. And now we have some predefined macros here. And what I'm going to do is click on New. And we are going to create a new macro. And before we create one, let's just take a look at what we're looking at here. So we can provide the name of the macro here. We can provide a description, whatever we want to call that there. And then this down here is going to look very familiar to a lot of people. This is basically Microsoft Flow, right? Power Automate. So if you look at it, we have triggers and actions, and we are actually creating flows in the back end here. If you take a look at this, so the predefined automation action here is productivity automation. So I'm going to click on this, and then and this is the first trigger basically, right? So this is what's going to trigger this macro to run, and it's all we have here is start macro execution. So I'm going to go and click on that one, and that's our first step. So that's our trigger, right? So same concept with Power Automate. We need something to trigger the flow, and that trigger is going to be the macro execution. So next we have the new step here. So if I click on new step, this is where we can define a set of actions or just one action that this flow / macro will perform. Okay, so let's go and look through each of these. We're gonna build out a few of these, but let's just kind of talk through these really quickly, right? So we can see here that we have one that refreshes the session context. Okay, so if you're in Omnichannel and you want to refresh the session context, this is a macro that can do that. And remember, these can be used within. You can have multiple of these within a macro. So you may not have refresh session context as a step for the agent, but you may have this within the macro before you do an action like a save record or something. The next one is focus on tabs. So if you want to take the agent over to a particular tab in Omnichannel, this is what you would select here. Refresh the tab, get the current tab, so we know which tab is the current one, and then we can go and apply that information to other actions. We have here open the application tab. We have open a record grid. So if you want to basically display a view to a user, that's what you would do there. You can clone the current record. That could be useful. Then we have do a relevant search based on the phrase. So you can provide a phrase and then go off and provide that to relevant search, and then that will go off and display the results back to the agent. Okay. We have a similar one here: search the knowledge base for a pre-populated phase, or the populated phase, I should say. So that one is very similar. We're going to provide a phase, and then it'll come back and display the knowledge base article list in a tab. Next, we have open an existing record. So a Dataverse record here, you can open up and display to the agent. Then we have update an existing record. Same deal. We can go off and update a record. We can resolve a case here. So that one's useful if you're dealing with cases. We can open a new form to create a record. So if you want to display a Dataverse entity record to a user and then have them fill out some information, and you can pre-populate some of that information as well, that's what you would do there. And you can save the record as well. You can open an email form with predefined template. And we have here autofill form fields. We have open knowledge base article, clone input record, send knowledge base article in chat, and then we have a couple of linking ones here to the conversation. Certain entities, you could link to the conversation record. So that's what these two are providing here, linking and unlinking. And then you have a run flow here. And this one's really interesting because here you can actually run a Power Automate flow outside of this scope, and then and basically, that opens up a lot of possibilities, right? And we're going to take a look at how to do that as well. So these are all of the predefined actions. So let's start with a real simple one. I'm going to go up here and we're going to do a open an existing record. So I'm going to click here, and now it's providing us for it's asking for the entity logical name and the record ID, and then optionally a form ID, right? So I'm going to go over here to my environment, and let's just go and grab a record here. And I'm just going to hard code this one just for some simplicity so we can see this record opening. So I'm going to pick up this. This is the contact record here, and I'm going to just grab this ID up here, and we're going to pass that in as a parameter. So here is going to be contact, and then the entity record ID is this one, okay? And I'm going to say open contact record, okay? And no need for a description, and I'm just going to go ahead and save and close this. And I find, like, if you press save and close twice here sometimes, because you see it takes a few seconds, don't press it more than once, because sometimes you get multiple records being created here as a result of this multiple of the same record by mistake. So we got the open contact record. Next one I'm going to do is open a record grid. So if I go over here, we do the same macro execution, and then I'm going to come into here. If I scroll down, open a record grid, and here is the logical name again, and I'm just going to come back over here, and I'm just going to go over to the Power Apps Maker portal real quick, and let's just take a look at a grid here that we can use, a view actually. So if I go over here, and I'm just going to go over to the default solution, and let's take a look. And I'm just going to go and search for account. And let's expand this out, go to views. So we'll just basically open up an account view, and we'll just need the GUID for that. So I'm just going to go grab that. So let's say all accounts, for example. And this is the ID here that we want. So I'm just going to grab this. And now if we just go back to our macro, so the logical name is account, and the view ID I can provide here if I want, right? So I'm going to call this one open accounts. That looks good. Let's go ahead and save this. All right, we got a couple. Now let's do a relevant search now. So let's wait for this to load. Okay, productivity, start macro execution. I'm going to scroll down, do relevant search here, and this one I'm going to do coffee. Okay, and let's see here, relevant search coffee. This is the name that I had used previously, so I'm just going to pick that up and click save and close. And you can see here we're building out all these macros, right, that we're going to use in our agent script. Next one here, let's go ahead back into here, and we're going to do, let's do this time a knowledge base, and we're going to search here. Search string is going to be water, okay? So basically, we're searching the knowledge base for water, so any water phrase will be presented back over to the agent. And let's see here. Let's try to do an update of an account. So I'm going to click here. And so this is the Dataverse record now that we're updating. So update an existing record. So here I'm going to click account. And again, I'm hard coding these. But basically, you don't need to hard code these. You can use slugs, right? And I'm just going to kind of digress just quickly. So if you go over here to the to this article here, it says use the automation dictionary to pass data parameter keys. And here is where they talk about slugs. And there's lots of information here about how to use slugs. And, these are basically like replacement parameters, right? So you put a parameter in like this, and then you'll be able to, that will be replaced at runtime if that value exists with the actual value. And then it makes things more dynamic, right? So, what I'm doing with hard coding things is a little bit more unrealistic in the real world, but what in a real world scenario, you're probably going to be using slugs more often, okay? So you can read more about the slugs here. So these are just examples of some slugs that you can use, and I encourage you to use those in your macros when you need to, okay? So in this case, what we'll do is I have an account record here, so I'm just going to go ahead and grab the ID of this one. Again, for demo purposes, this is an account record that we'll be updating. And then here is the attribute name and the attribute value. So we have a field here called ticker symbol, right, on this record. So I'm going to go ahead and type ticker symbol here because this is the field name. So that's the field name of the of what we're updating. And then the value here, right, the ticker symbol value, I'm just going to say new, okay? So previously, if we go back, it's MSFT, and now we're just going to set this to new as an update, okay? So that's the update there, and then I'm just going to call this one update account, and then save this macro, okay? So we're doing an update of a Dataverse record. Let's see here, let's do another one, and now instead of doing an update, right, and we're going to see how that update runs when we actually run this, what we're going to do now is we're going to do a opening of a record, basically like a new record. So creating a record, and we're going to see what that looks like. So here we have open a new form to create a record, okay? So let's say we wanted to create a lead record, right? So the logical name is lead. That's all good. We can provide a form ID if we want to display to the user. And we have these the same format as the update record, right? So we need to provide the field names, and then we need to provide some values for them. So a couple of required fields that I know for a lead is the subject, right? So we're going to populate the subject here. And I'm just going to call this new lead. So that's the first field. It'll be just populated with the word new lead for the subject. And then the next one is the last name. So I'm just going to type in last name here. And then for this value, I'm just going to go ahead and use a slug. And so the format here is dollar and then customer, and then we're going to do name. Okay. So the customer name from the slug variable, if you want to think of it that way, is going to be used to populate the last name of this lead entity that we'll be creating, right? And so that's going to basically open the form and allow us to create the record. But then the next thing we're going to do is we'll just go ahead and save that record, right? So we have the save the record here, and there's no information needed. It says you'll be able to use the outputs in the subsequent steps, but basically it's just going to go ahead and save that record, okay? So that's all we'll do for that one. We'll go ahead and see this open up, and so this is what we'll call the macro, and we'll go and close that. But yeah, basically open a lead, populate those fields, and then just save it for us. And then the final one here is going to be, let's go ahead and call a flow, right? So start macro execution. And before we do this one, actually, let's go ahead and take a look at creating a flow. So to do that, let's go over to here, and I'm just going to go to leads. And over here, we have flow, and we're going to do, just wait for this to load here. And we're going to do create a flow. Okay. So if I click create a flow, let's see what happens. So now it says it's using this connector here, and then it's going to the connection like this, and I'm going to click continue. And basically what this is running on is when a record is selected, okay? We can see here when a record is selected, the default environment table name is leads, and then here we can go ahead and create a new step. And just to kind of demonstrate this working, right? Because we just want to demonstrate the flow working, I'm going to go and send an email to myself, all right? So I'm going to do and send an email v2. Let's select this one here, okay? So now the two, I'm going to select myself here. I'm just going to basically send this to myself. That's fine. Subject is test email. And then the body, we can say a record. And then here we have the dynamic content that we can go and add to this, if we want to. And I know that the topic of the lead is the one that's going to be populated. And so I'm just going to put a new record. Let's say this has been created as a lead. Okay. All right. So that's all ready to go, and I'm just going to rename this because I know that I have a one with the same name out there. Let's call it V2. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save this, and then that will save this flow, and the flow's ready to use, and we're all ready to go in this front, right? So now, if I go back over to the macros, and then I click on New Step, and then here I'm going to do Flow Connector, run flow, and then the logical name here, this is going to be lead, okay, and then the record ID, so you have to associate this with a record, and I'm just going to, again, you could use those replacement parameters and slugs, and, I'm just going to hard code this one here. So that's going to go and run off this record, and then here, says select flow, and this is the where we're actually selecting our Power Automate flow that we created, right? So I'm going to do this V2 one that we created. Let's go ahead and give this a name, and I will click save and close here. Okay. So now we have a whole bunch of flows. We have a whole bunch of macros that are now ready to run. So now the next thing is we'll need to basically hook these macros up to some agent script steps so that we'll be able to actually use them in the agent scripts. Okay, so I'm going to go back over here to agent scripts now, and let's go and create a new agent script, and I'm going to call this one new customer script. Okay, so when a new customer is comes on board, then it's going to run this script. So now I need to provide a unique name for this one, and just going to do that and click save. And then this is basically now the new agent script, and here are the agent script steps that we need to add, right? So I'm going to click to add a new one, and we basically need to go through and provide one for each of our macros, right? So I'm just going to go and kind of go through this list here. So we got open accounts as one. So I'm going to do open accounts, and it's linked to our correct agent script. I'm going to do number one here. We can go and change the order. And here is the action type. And basically we have text, which is basically saying, let's just provide some text to the agent. You know, very useful if you just say to them like, greet the customer, right, as a step, you know, so they remember to do that, right? So we also have macro, which is what we're going to select, and then we have script, where we can actually call some of these other scripts if we want to layer this. I'm going to go and click macro. We can provide a description if we want, and then here I'm going to search for the open accounts macro that we created. All right, so this is one script ready to go. I'm going to click save, and let's go create a new one. And we're just going to go through real quick, just do this for each of the ones that we created. And so we got the new customer script here. This is number 2 macro, and this is going to be update account. All right, we got 2. Now next one is going to be let's do call the flow, and we are going to assign it like that. Number 3, let's say macro and call flow. What's next? We are going to do open and save a lead, and like so. This is number 4 macro, and open save lead. Next one is going to be search knowledge base for water, KB, and this is number 5, and that's that one. Now we're going to do relevant search, and like this. This is going to be 6 macro, and relevant search done. And we think we have one more to add here. Let's see. We have I think we got everything actually. And what we might do, so another one I'm just going to do just to show you guys is I'm going to do a text one here, and then we'll try to run this, make sure we have everything there. So this is going to be like this. This is going to be 7, and this is just going to be text, and I'm just going to say remember to say thanks to the customer. Great. Okay, let's go ahead and save this. And now we should be able to just go back and take a look at all the scripts that we have. I'm just going to go back this way, back through to my agent script. New script here. And then, so it's assigned, it's gone ahead and assigned all these here. And we did have open contact record. Let me take a look here. Let's say open contact record. And this was the one that I forgot. So I'm just going to go back and add this one in. What are we up to? Number 8, let's say. And make this a macro open contact record. So it's going to be this one here. Going to click save. And then we should be good now. Okay, so we got 8 agent scripts here. So this is, you can see the order here. So this is what we're going to be presented with when we actually run this. And the agent sees this in Omnichannel. All right. So Now we're ready to go. The only thing we haven't done yet is link the agent script here over to our work stream. So I'm going to go to the work streams and click here, and we are going to go down here, and it's actually going to be once again on the session template. So I've opened this up here. So for when this session template loads, which is assigned to the work stream, it's going to run the agent script that we provided here. Okay, let that load here, and then we should be good. We should be ready to run this. Okay, so that's loaded there. So now let's just go ahead and try to run this. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to go here and refresh my configuration, and over here I have a chat that's ready to go, and so basically this chat's going to run. This is where we have all the configuration. The chat's going to come into the agent. The agent's going to accept it. We'll see the agent script come into play, and we can go through and click on each of them and see if this works or not. Okay. All right. So now let's go ahead and click chat. And for my particular chat widget, the way I have it set up is firstly, a bot's going to come on board and greet us and say, hey guys, how's it going? How can I help you? And over here, I have this talk to agent. So I'm just going to click talk to agent. And then that's going to transfer that Power Virtual Agent. It's going to transfer us over to a real customer agent. Okay. So it says we are transferring this conversation. Here's the conversation coming in. I'm going to click accept, and let's see this load. So here's our conversation, and over here on the right, the productivity pane. I've done some videos on this in the past. You can check out my channel and search for these. But basically, if I go over here, this is the agent script, and then this is what we created, right? So this is everything that we just did. So let's go through this. So basically, the agent knows that the first thing they have to do by following this script is to click on Open Accounts. So if I click on this, we're going to see the color change here once it's finished. But I click on Open Accounts, and you can see here the view, the All Accounts view, right? That's the one that we specified by providing the GUID, the ID, to the macro. So it's going to run this macro, and it's displaying it here. So now the agent doesn't have to think about this. They can already see all accounts while they're dealing with this customer chat, right? That's the first macro. Second one here, update account. Okay, so this one's interesting. So remember, if I just tab back over here, this says MSFT right now. And if I go back over to this demo over here and I click update account, and it's we get a green, it says it's updated. If I go back over here now, and I just go and refresh this, right? Clicking here to refresh, we should see it's saying new now. There it goes, right? New, perfect. All right. Now, next one up is going to be call flow. So with the calling of the flow, let's watch this in action. So I'm going to click call flow. And so now it's going over here. It says log into flow. And some of this is kind of the first time thing we're going to see, and then other times you won't need to go through certain steps here. But this is the sign in here. I'm going to click continue, and then here is the run flow. So it's running flow button number 2. I click run flow. It says done. I can close it, and now the flow's just gone off and run, right? So if I go over here to my Outlook, you can see here this is the test email. So I've actually received the test email. And the flow, that's how we know that the flow's worked. So that's really cool. I like that. That opens up a lot of possibilities here, right? Next one up, open and save a lead. So I'm going to click on this. We're opening up a new record, setting a couple of the fields on the lead record, and then saving the record. And you can see here the slug didn't come through here for some reason. I don't know. That was working for me previously. Maybe I did, that doesn't look right there. That looks like the wrong type of bracket, unfortunately. Let's see, if we just jump back over here real quick, let's go over to productivity. And macros, and we can take a look and see if that was incorrectly entered here. So open and save a lead, and then we go over here, and yeah, that's the problem. All right, so I'm gonna basically do this and save it, and that's gonna fix that. But you know, we did everything else right there. Unfortunately, we just missed that one. So, but if we did this, it's gonna say you know, whatever the person's last name is, like that. Okay. Next one up is search knowledge base for water. So if I click on it, then you know it's opening up these tabs. By the way, right? Each of these tabs across the top in the session for Omnichannel. And you can see here, it's opened up knowledge base and it's searching for water and it's coming back with everything that it finds here. So that's a nice one. Relevant search coffee. If I click on this one, we could see here the relevant searches run. It's searching for the word coffee. It's found an account here, right? So that's a good one. Now, say thanks. So this is a text one, so it looks a little different there. And if I expand this out, it says, remember to say thanks to the customer. So once I say, you know, once I complete this action here, and then I can click on this here and say, yep, I did that action, and that turns to green, right? So you can, you don't even have to do a lot of stuff with macros when you're dealing with agent scripts. You could just have a series of steps really just to make sure the agent follows them, right? And then the last one here, open contact record, just to show you that working. So if we click on this, it's passing the GUID to the contact and it's displaying it over here, and then it displays the contact record, right? So that's how that works. You know, that's just kind of an overview. You know, remember to use the new customer service admin app. But I think this, you know, some pretty powerful features here. If you want to make sure that your agents are going through this process properly and dealing with these chats in a controlled way, making sure that they follow all the steps, and then they deal with the customer in the right way, and customer satisfaction increases, right? That's what this is all about, and making sure that processes are followed. So powerful feature there, and hopefully you guys get to use this in your actual environments. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks so much. So that's it, guys. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and of course check out my blog at carldesouza.com. Thank you.